Give me the argument, the best argument you know, for the power of cinema.
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
And welcome everybody to the show. This is Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And Peliculas with the Bros is a show, a podcast where me and my brother Ivan discuss a movie. Every week we discuss a new movie. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
Amadeus.
Nice. And we're doing Amadeus to get ready for Elvis, which is coming out this Thursday, which is today. And we'll discuss Elvis next week. But first, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Me and Ivan, we do a podcast every week, like I said, and it's called Peliculas with the Bros. If you like to listen to two guys, two brothers, two Mexican guys, two Mexican brothers talk about movies every week, each week, you're in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Please follow us on any podcast platform you can that you use. Look us up, Peliculas with the Bros. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the stuff, all the things. We're also on YouTube, Peliculas with the Bros. Look us up. We make videos there revolving this podcast. Now, Ivan, let's go back 300 years to a time when the best musical artist could not only play instruments, but write music as well. A time when you had to be rich to hear music of any kind. And a time when Vienna was the cultural hub of the world. As we discuss the movie of the week, Ivan, what's the movie?
Amadeus.
Amadeus, Amadeus, Amadeus. Have you heard that song before? Amadeus, Ivan. Directed by Milos Forman. Written by Peter Schaefer. The premise: what happens when you have a What happens when you devote your life to God in hopes to be blessed with the ability to become a great composer? God decides to give that ability to a sloppy, goofy, deviant child, condemning you to a life of misery. This is the story of the rise and fall of Antonio Salieri and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. With a cast of F. Murray Abraham as Antonio Salieri, Tom Hulce as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Elizabeth Berridge as Constance Mozart, and Roy Dotrice as Leopold Mozart. We have Amadeus.
Leopold.
What?
Leopold.
Leopold. The names back then, right?
Yeah.
Great. Milos Forman, Ivan. I'll ring off a couple movies. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I saw that pretty recently, actually.
Me too. What'd you think?
Don't copy my life. Jesus.
Danny DeVito
Good.
as like a little small Italian guy before he was Danny DeVito.
I don't know if he was Italian in that movie.
I mean, he looks Italian.
Oh, okay.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Pretty great. 4.5.
We'll be back next week. Amadeus, obviously, a movie called Hair, which is about like hippies revolting musical. He has The People versus Larry Flint, won Academy Award for that, and Man on the Moon, the Jim Carrey movie about Andy Kaufman. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
His style, I haven't seen all his movies. The ones I've seen were this one, Amadeus, obviously, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, as we just mentioned, and Man on the Moon. But from what I gather, from my intel, from the research I've done, and from watching these movies, I feel like he's able to get the right performance from an actor. Yep. You heard it right. It's like when you think about the directors that you and me sort of fawned over, who we keel over for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using weird words. I don't really mean that.
Sure.
Do you think I'll keel over for a Tim Burton? Is keel over for the right phrase? What does that even mean? Like
Till you die.
I'll die for Tim Burton?
but like,
Yeah, it's like Tim Burton. I see him and it's like, like taking rat poisoning in Dumb and Dumber.
yeah,
The directors we like more stylized directors. We like newer directors, like more modern directors. But if I could put Milos in a context for you, I would say like for his time, he was well respected by the actors and by people who like movies. And I feel like his movies were just able to tell a great story, able to transfer a screenplay to film in the right way. I wouldn't say there's like a lot of fuss to him.
I think they're honest.
That's a good take.
They're about like also the flaws of the people, at least in the 3 that I've seen.
Uh-huh.
But like that's like the one thread I see where it's like dirty honesty.
There's another thread where he likes to tell stories of rebels, and that's primarily because of his upbringing, of his past. He's from the Czech Republic,
Okay.
and he made films against the government when he was first starting as a director. The government was like communist, and I think he likes that idea, that archetype of a character, and see where it takes him from there,
Mhm.
because he probably sees himself in those things. But there's a quote. I was looking at. I was watching a mini documentary about the making of this film, and the quote is this from him directly. Director is a little bit of everything, but good director, always for every part of his work, must choose people who are better than him.
Mm-hmm.
When he said that,
Kanye.
yes. But when he said that, I was like, this guy is just like, he knows what it takes to make a good movie.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a Raimi, a Tarantino, Tim Burton, even like Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he likes the beginning, middle, and end classic storytelling, but done very well.
Right.
Here on Peliculas with the Bros, we like to look at how the sausage was made. So, Ivan, fire up that machine. Get the casing ready. And put that piggy in the mill. Get the sausage. Put it on the hot dog. Get the ketchup. And take a big old bite. Now chew it. Digest it. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Let's look at how Amadeus was made. It was a play before it was a movie. The play was written by Peter Shaffer, who went on to write the screenplay for this film. Foreman saw the play going into it like, I'm gonna see this play, and it's about a musical artist. He literally thought it wasn't gonna be that good. He saw it and he's like, I need to make this a movie.
I need to make this a movie.
He goes to Schaefer. He's like, let's write the screenplay. They lock themselves in a room for 4 months. They hate each other, but they write the screenplay. The takeaways after writing the screenplay, they said, this is what the difference between the play and the movie needs to be. More music and less talking. Because when you think the movie has to have more music and it has to have less talking.
Okay.
Because when it's in a play, obviously plays have more talkie and less music, just because of the difficulty of playing live music, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a movie, you can edit it a certain way and have lots of music. Another thing, Foreman didn't want to have any stars, like straight out stars in this movie, because he wanted people to look at Mozart as Mozart and Salieri as Salieri, right?
Right.
An example of this is Mark Hamill. He was auditioning for this, and even though Foreman thought he was good, he's like, no, people are gonna see Luke Skywalker, and I don't want that to affect this movie. So he's like a director that he starts from the beginning all the way to the end. Casting, he's very involved into casting, and I think that's something that we never talk about.
Casting?
Yeah, as far as because we are big on our tour directors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And out of all the directors that we really love, you would assume that they are involved in every aspect, right? But are they really involved in casting?
I think more often than not, yeah. I feel like because you saw the documentary, you see he said that, but I feel like Christopher Nolan's like, ooh, I need Christian Bale, or Tarantino's like, ooh, I need Brad Pitt,
right?
Ooh, I need Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man.
But what about like the director that's like, I don't want Brad Pitt. I want this obscure actor who's been in movies, but he hasn't given his chance to shine. Because according to them, like everyone was going for these two roles, like everyone in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But these two obscure actors got the role.
Right.
I'm thinking about like Tarantino does this more than I would think, where he likes specific people. Even though they're not huge. Of course, his movies always have
huge stars.
Yeah, the DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, whatever, but maybe the lesser known side pieces. Another thing that Mueller is keen on is the side actors, the lesser known actors, or sorry, the supporting cast. They are probably more important than the main actors to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how scarce they are in the movie. So the scarcity means that when they come in, they need to be able to perform and get out.
Right.
And also that they're unique enough that you remember them. I think one of his quotes was like, I hate when I see a movie and I can't tell the difference between supporting cast member 1 and supporting cast member 2, you know?
Yes.
Like he's big on that. And I think that you can see that when you look at this film and the different actors in this film. Like they all have recognizable faces, even though they're small bit players. And lastly, this movie was shot in Prague, Czech Republic, which I think gives it a lot. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But before we get to that, Ivan, Amadeus. So we're doing Amadeus because we're going to watch Elvis next week. Directed by Baz Luhrmann. I don't know. I forgot his name. Looks like a big movie. Probably not going to do that well. Who cares? But Amadeus. I picked Amadeus. What was the two movies I suggested? Amadeus and what?
Lightyear.
Lightyear. I didn't even give you a second movie option, huh? I should have done that. Lightyear. Why aren't we doing Lightyear? Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Amadeus, though. Have you ever heard of the movie Amadeus?
Yeah.
You have.
I watched it before, but I don't remember it.
You hear that, people? We have a liar in our midst.
What the?
Just kidding.
What the?
You watched it before at home or?
When it released.
Ooh, 1984. You were there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
13 years before you were born.
A wee lad.
6 years before I was born.
A wee lad.
1 year after our big brother was born.
A wee lad. I watched it on, like I downloaded it. I remember, like this was in the start of like, oh, I like movies. I should watch all the movies. This is like, I was like 16 or something. But I had no clue what I was doing. I was a amateur at best.
It's like the internet gives you so much power.
Yeah.
And then they give you like this obscure art film and you're like, what have I opened?
I remember being bored when I watched it.
Yeah.
Like I did not remember the second half of this movie at all.
Yeah.
But I liked it now.
Well, you gave away the second question, but for me, I have heard of this film, and it's funny because the first time I heard about this film was when I was watching TV back in the day. I used to watch a little show called I Love the 80s, and I think it was I Love the 80s. It might have been a different one, but it was a VH1 show where they talk about the 80s. And there's a song they were talking about a song called "Rock Me Amadeus," Amadeus, Amadeus, and I was like, oh, that's a cool song. And they said it was based off a movie called Amadeus, and talked about the movie a little bit. I was like, oh, probably never watched that, but okay. And then obviously we talked about doing Elvis, and I'm like, what's some of the greatest movies based off musicians? And this one came up, and I was like, Ivan, I think it's time. Let's open that Blu-ray. Just kidding. Download it for free. Classical music, Ivan. Mozart, right? Amadeus, Mozart, Beethoven. What's your relationship with these icons of the music world?
I mean, I never was super into it, but there's some songs where I'm like, oh, I like that. But I don't think I'll ever be like, ooh, this is amazing front to back.
Well, I
can listen to this forever.
We here on Peliculas with the Bros, not only do we talk about movies, but we talk about music a lot. And lately we've been, for the past 2 years it seems, we've been talking about hip hop is dead and music is sort of in a funk. Not anymore, obviously, because Drake just came out with a new album. But classical music, according to your own standards, sort of matches up with exactly what you want. Like, your quote, your direct quote, and
Jesus.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is, I just want to hear good music.
Yeah.
So I feel like classical music, though old and no lyrics, kind of fits in snug into that.
What if I want lyrics?
And then that's a different question. But you never added that pretext.
It's an addendum that I'm adding right now. Needs lyrics.
Is that what it is, though?
Nah. I'll probably get into it one day. Like I genre hop. Not recently. That's not the word. Frequently.
Gotcha. It's a hard word to remember. You know what I mean?
It is one or the other. But I genre hop frequently, so I'll probably find like some classical music stint in me one day, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm not like, after this, I'm like, oh, I have to know everything. Like, what am I doing with my life?
Well, Ivan, what's the one thing you know about me?
You're addicted to hobbies.
So guess what I'm becoming?
Oh, no.
C note, D minor. Now the choir. A flat. I love that too. Yeah, classical music and me, it's that weird thing where for my whole life you hear classical music and you're kind of just shrug it off.
I think it's because it's so like, it's old and it's been done in a way. And
it's just so weird that we shrug it off. Like it's like, oh, yeah. Classical music? Okay. You almost don't even consider it as music. You consider it as like something else entirely.
I think it's like more mathematical, like of a music.
Right.
Like I feel like if I learned music, I'd appreciate classical music a lot more. But like you can't just beat a Drake hit that anyone can latch onto.
Yeah, you can. Mozart. Like some of his...
But to like the 12-year-old person.
Yeah. Right. What was I going to say? What were you saying? Born... Oh, to that point of like it's mathematical. Mm-hmm. I think I can sort of compare it to like fine art where as a nerd, I like comic books because of the artiness of it. And I like some graphic design because of the art and how it looks. But like fine art, I'm just like, no thanks. But it's the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's actually more, probably better quality than the comics and the graphic design that I like. Mm-hmm. But it's just done in a great way. In a more nuanced way, probably. Mm-hmm. except for some of the art we saw in New York, where it's just like white wall with a little piece of rope. $5 million.
I love it.
Modern art, baby. Though when we went to the MoMA, just like that, when we sneaked into that like floor that we weren't supposed to be at, that whole floor was just like, this place is pure bullshit.
You're just mad you couldn't get in.
I was in.
You weren't all the way in.
That's right. But
Hater.
like, just like, seriously, I don't know. It's so modern art is just so
debonair.
no.
Oh.
What does that word even mean?
I don't know.
I just feel like modern art
esoteric.
It's just trying to be so smart that it's stupid.
I think it depends. Like, I'm sure if I learned their intention, I could see like, okay, not too stupid.
But isn't that like, okay, what if tomorrow Drake, or what if Kanye comes out with an album that is very obscure music with like rhyming that doesn't really make sense, right? What will you think?
I think if it's intentional, it's good.
Even if it sounds bad.
I mean, yeah, in a way. I just like, if you
like, literally sounds bad. Like, there's no melody, there's no like nuance, there's no I shouldn't say nuance, but there's nothing that connects anything together.
Yeah, I would just think he's like, oh, he's doing this as like a statement, like, I don't need to prove anything to you guys. Here's horrible music just so you guys can never talk to me again.
But what if it's like, this is what I think, like, this is the music of my ancestors, and this is what their emotional state was when they were enslaved.
I mean,
and would you be like, yep?
It would hard to imagine that being intentionally bad.
But okay, it's hard to describe, but I can see where you're going. I just think modern art is it's more miss than hit for me.
Yeah, but it depends. Like, it's like if they know their craft and they could perfectly draw like one-to-one recreation of a hamburger with paint. Like, you look at that and say, okay, what's that? And now they're like, okay, I'm done with that. Let me just do whatever. And they just do some super abstract, like paint splotches, whatever. But they understand like all the mechanics and like all the symbolism.
Yes.
Everything of art. Like, he's just doing that for fun at that point.
Well, yeah, that's sort of like how some of the greatest artists end up becoming their own style, right? They become like, they start with knowing exactly how to draw a person's face, exactly how it looks, to be like, all right, done following the rules, now time to break them. Interesting. Ivan, let's talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Amadeus. What'd you think about Amadeus?
It's good.
It's good?
It's good.
I liked it a lot.
It was really good.
First time watching it, I was expecting something a little bit like wackier. The tone being wackier for some reason. Like, I saw him with pink hair in some of the trailers and stuff. Like, I think this movie's gonna be like kind of stylized and a more crazy take on Mozart, like a not so realistic take. Maybe it wasn't even too realistic, but an even more unrealistic take. But it felt to me pretty grounded. But man, it was just like, for me, what really stood out was the acting. The Salieri's and Mozart's, like, their come up and their fall. And then like the mixing of the music obviously felt great. The music itself just being like classic hits. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, it just works so well. Even though it was a little bit long.
What?
Did you watch the director's cut?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was like the only option available, but
Yeah.
yeah, 3 hours long. But it was good.
I liked it. I didn't feel like let's come on, let's move on.
Uh-huh.
I was into it the whole time,
Yeah.
but I did stop at 2 hours because I had to do other things.
Yeah.
But it was
That would
good.
help, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the acting. So F. Murray Abraham as Antonio Salieri and Tom Hulce as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. They both get nominated for Best Actor for this movie. This movie sweeps the Oscars, like Best Director, Best everything, basically. Best movie. They both get nominated for Best Actor with F. Murray Abraham winning. And his acceptance speech, he said this: "The only thing missing is Tom Hulce standing by my side right here."
Oh.
But when he said it, it wasn't like, it was so real.
Mm-hmm. Like he wasn't saying it to be like a Madonna or something. He was just saying it like as a fact, like he should be here.
Like you could see he was like looking directly into his eyes, and Hulce was looking directly into his, and their eyes were like gleaming with like a tinge of water, and you just felt it, and everyone just like tish, 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 tish. But Abraham, he deserved it. Like the acting he does in this movie, it's so nuanced. Like how he talks about the past, because the movie's told in a way where Salieri, who's basically a composer himself, but just always seen as beneath Mozart. He's actually not even considered like an equal of Mozart. But he's so jealous of him. He prays to God that he will be given the talent to be a good composer. And then he meets this upstart, Mozart, this prodigy, and he just leagues better than him. And his performance conveying how jealous he is, how much he hates him, while trying to also play like not devil's advocate, but like basically a spy with him, is so good. The acting he does, like the way he reads his lines, there's like some great scenes that we'll mention, but it's just so good. And I think without his performance, I don't know where this movie stands, or without Tom Hulce's performance, who's is really good too. And I feel like Mozart's is like his performance as Mozart isn't as difficult, because he's just like this goofy, crazy little kid, you know. But that is also difficult to play.
Yeah,
like you have to. Yet he's goofy, but when he's set on something, he's like maniacal.
Yeah.
There's so many Kanye vibes when I was watching this.
Yeah.
And there's so many scenes where I'm watching it and I'm like, I can just see how Kanye and Drake can fit into like these two characters' molds.
Yeah. I think they're pretty much like, not one for one, but like copied and pasted, but with our modern sensibilities into these people now, and like our modern culture. Like if Kanye and Drake were sent back and put in those positions, they would have that same rise in relationship.
Yeah. I mean, this movie's like super relatable. Like no matter, even though, and I think that's another thing that makes it good, is that even though it's 300 years ago, the story is you can understand the plight that Salieri's going through, and also Mozart as like a genius alcoholic. Another thing that makes this movie good is obviously the music, and something that's like not seen to the common man, the viewer out there that's just trying to watch a good movie, is the editing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the movie's told as a flashback almost, right?
Yeah.
With Salieri narrating to a priest about his life, and the way that the movie's narrated, coupled with the fact with how the music is edited into the movie, because they're describing different scenes, and also how the music along with the acting is edited together. That's pretty hard, and for it to feel great without you noticing anything. Because did you notice like any specific editing that's really good?
It's like it's seamless. You're saying,
Right, and I think that's what makes it like so good. And of course, like when you're making a movie like this that's set in the 1700s, you need something that looks like the 1700s. And for the movie to look like you're in the 1700s, another great thing.
Yep.
There's a couple great scenes in this movie, Ivan, that really stand out. One is the scene where Salieri, after meeting Mozart for the first time, or after realizing who Mozart is, he goes and reads his sheet music, right? And he's looking at it, and he's describing it in the flashback, and he's like, it starts very simple, but then the genius comes through. And as he's reading it, you can see him like crying as he reads it.
Pained.
And like I laughed when I saw that, because it like the idea of someone crying while reading music seems so ridiculous, but you felt it being real.
I think like with any sort of craft, there's like once you understand like the mastery of it, then above that is just genius. And Salieri was obviously like a master, but he didn't have the genius or like the creativity to do what Mozart did.
Yeah.
So when he saw that, it's like, this is actually crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a modern
what? What's a modern take on that?
Yeah.
Well, I think about like when basketball players.
Oh God.
There's like there's Kevin Durant, which a lot of basketball players say like he's the best basketball player. And me as a common basketball fan, I'm like, yeah, but he's not like LeBron, or he's not like that. But their reasoning is like, why he's so good is because he makes the most difficult looking shot seem so easy.
Right.
And
Right.
it's that like next level knowledge that you need to have to understand the difficulty to be what it is to be Mozart or Kevin Durant or Kanye or whoever it is, right? But yeah, just that scene of him like reading it for the first time, he's like shocked, in awe, crying, emotional. So good, man. So good. Another scene is like when Mozart's wife brings in his sheet notes for him to get a potential job, and she needs to show it to Salieri, and Salieri needs to basically approve of them for Mozart to get the job. And he's reading it. He's reading like 30 sheet notes, each of them a different composition. And as he reads one, he's like, beautiful, beautiful. And like he's looking at it, and it's basically that same scene, but just like sped up. And him realizing like how not only is he a genius, but he's a super genius, and he's prolific.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing too, where it's like, and where someone can be extremely gifted, but not use their gifts because they're lazy or they're not as committed, right?
Right.
But then there's like the rare. It's rare to be a genius, but it's even rarer to be a genius and to love what you do. And for him to realize that not only is Mozart a genius, but he loves what he does and he can do this all day, that's scary. And for him, that's like, I'm so screwed. What was I thinking about right now? The genius. Oh, man. I forgot. Oh, again, to basketball. Sorry, Ivan, but I have to do it. Everyone in the NBA can run fast, can jump high. Not everyone, but you get the picture, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has a lot of talent. But what separates LeBron from everyone, Kevin Durant from everyone, is the ability to do it every night and the drive to try to do it every night. Because some people just come in to
Clock in, clock out.
clock in, clock out.
Cash in, cash out.
Cash in, cash out. Cash in, cash out. And that's sort of something we don't think about when you're looking at sports or music, and probably more so art in general, that not everyone loves being an artist. You know? Like, you look at some people's art and you're like, I love Louis Vert. I love
I don't know any other artists.
21 Savage, Tyler the Creator. I love blah, blah, blah. But the ones that really succeed are the ones that put the time into it. And we talk about it all the time, but I think that's the key to any great talent. And I think that's what Mozart is. And then lastly, I think the best scene in the whole freaking movie is Mozart on his deathbed trying to compose Requiem in D minor. Shout out to that. And Salieri's like, I'll help you finish it. And that scene, like, for me to even describe that scene is so difficult. But that's like another way that this movie's good, because the editing in that is impeccable. Just like how they intersliced the specific sound that Mozart's describing to Salieri to write down in the sheet music.
Yep.
And how they interact, where you can see how fast Mozart's thinking and how he thinks, and Salieri can't even keep up to write down what he's telling him. He's like, you're going too fast, man. You're going too fast. And just his ability to, because that's another thing. Like, Salieri, all he wants, he's been praying to God to give him the ability to write beautiful music. He's like, let your genius go through me, right? And then he eventually hates God because he doesn't have that ability. But the irony, I guess you could say, that the final scene shows him where God is finally able to write through him.
Yeah.
But God is not Jesus Christ, baby. God is that little blonde man sitting down on his deathbed called Mozart Amadeus, baby. I just think that was chef's kiss. Man. And he's like, I think I got it. I think I got it. I love it, man.
Jeez.
So good.
Scary, man.
That's why movies are movies. Like
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole, yeah, like
I get her now.
I understand what she does, but if she talked about this scene every time, then I would be okay watching it at AMC. But she doesn't. She talks about
Jurassic
World, probably. She's probably talking her new movie that no one's gonna go watch. Shout out to her.
The Northman.
I have a question for you. All-time greatest rivalries on film. I have a list, so you don't have to think too hard. Obviously, this movie is about the rivalry between Salieri and Mozart. But in the pantheon of great films and great rivalries in films, I was thinking which movie or which rivalry is the best? Woody versus Buzz.
Nope.
That is like low-key a rivalry that is excellent. Just like Buzz coming in with the new technology. Chink, chink. And then Woody's like, but what about me? I'm the leader of this town. And just the idea of like a spaceman versus a cowboy. So good. Oh, man. Neo versus Mr. Smith.
Okay.
I think it could have been much better if the Reloaded and Revolutions weren't as bad, but it is what it is. Batman versus Joker, specifically the movies. Nolan's probably rings the loudest right here. Maverick versus Iceman. Say less. This is a very good one. Happy Gilmore versus Shooter McGavin.
Okay.
Shoot at, baby. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? So good.
God.
Marty McFly versus Biff. This one is like...
McFly. McFly.
That's a horrible Biff.
McFly.
It's more like... No. It's funny because I was watching number 2 yesterday. Randomly on TV. I can't do it. Oh, no, I got it. What are you, chicken?
I did the same thing.
No.
What are you, chicken?
That's specifically the future Biff.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rocky versus Apollo.
That's the winner right there.
You think so?
Yeah.
Over this one?
Yeah.
What about this one? Luke versus Darth Vader.
Yeah. It's too like... They wrote the book, but they didn't...
Innovate it?
Yeah.
So you're saying... Damn. So your number 1 is Rocky versus Apollo over Luke and Darth Vader. That's a hot take, Ivan. The hate that was in Happy Gilmore versus Shooter was like... There was a lot of hate in that.
Yes.
Like, Gilmore wanted to kick Shooter's ass, and Shooter wanted to kill Happy Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
Woody and Buzz... That one's loud for me. That one's like honking on the bobo. That one slaps.
Slaps?
Yeah.
When you put it that way.
Just like Woody tried to kill Buzz. Well, he did it. Oh man. Woody versus Buzz. That has to be it, man.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. I said earlier, this movie gives me heavy Kanye versus Drake feelings. Every time I saw the Salieri listening to Mozart's music, I thought of this is what Kanye feels, or this is what Drake feels when he listens to a Drake song, or conversely listens to a Kanye song. Specifically, the scene where he's telling Salieri's telling the priest of how he listened to a song and how beautiful it was. In 2062, when Kanye is in a mental asylum, right?
Okay.
And he's talking to a priest about how he killed Drake.
Wouldn't it be Drake in a mental asylum?
No. I predict he's going to be like this. He's going to go this is Kanye, right? And I'm talking to a priest. Hey, priest, have you heard this song? Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Dun. And then the priest's like, no, I haven't heard of that song. And he's like, okay, how about this one? Ba-dum-dum, baby. Dum-dum.
I don't even know that song.
Stuff. And the priest was like, I love that song. You made that song? He's like, no. Drake did.
Why would he have a gun in a mental asylum?
It's the future, baby. All law has been eradicated.
So you think Mozart's Drake?
No, it's more like Kanye.
Because it would be so perfect if Drake's like, dun, dun, and then instantly the priest is like, the cyber priest is like, you made that? You made that? Kanye did.
So, partly I think it's honestly, I made this to piss you off. I made this little segment to piss you off. But I don't know whose songs will be more everlasting. Kanye or Drake?
I think Runaway, I think that's the shortest, most iconic 2 notes ever.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Like so simple, but like
dun,
instantly
dun,
you have to know it.
dun. Ba-dum, dun. Baby.
I don't even know what
dun.
song is that.
You don't know like
No.
one dance? Ba-dum, dum.
Oh,
Baby. Dun,
It does
dun.
not
I
sound
like your stuff. Dun.
I don't know.
I know it. I only picked that song because it's Drake's biggest song. Like I looked
You
up.
should have done like, I don't know, something simpler.
The only one I have is you used to call me on my
That would have worked.
Is that the melody?
Yeah.
Wait. Hotline. What is Hotline Bling's melody?
It's good. It's a tone I can't make vocally.
It's Hotline. Wait. Used to call me used to. Oh, okay. That's why I can't. Yeah. I don't know how to do that. I need to listen to it. I don't know, man. I don't think that's the thing. I don't think music of today, and this is probably a good segue. Music of today can be like as recognizable in the future.
I think Kanye as well.
I don't think so.
Then who of this 20, 30 years?
I think I don't think anyone, honestly. I think it's more like the Beatles. Like
Kanye is in that territory.
but he doesn't make melodies like that.
But I mean, you play any Beatles song, I won't be like, oh, that's the Beatles.
Yeah, I will.
I won't.
I mean, you won't, but more people than not would.
But as the years go by,
As the years go by, I just think Mozart's type of music is
I think it's
better
because
suited to this kind of
getting
question.
yeah, because it's like you could do it like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and like instant. But Drake, you'd have to do like the beat and his voice.
Right. Maybe hip hop isn't well suited to this.
But also in the future, you could probably think the song and it'll play. Like, oh, you remember this song? And like, you just think it. Runaway starts playing, and it will be that instant of like.
But that's cheating. Now you're just cheating. Like,
So?
who cares? I'm talking about like straight up from memory. I don't care about the future.
In the future, it will be memory.
In the future, I don't even know what to say.
In the future, you'll shut up for once.
Nope. No.
Okay.
Musicians back then versus now. Just a whole different game, huh? Like, even to be able to write and create your own music, there's probably 1,000 times less people that could do it back then than now. And because to be able to do it, you need to be able to have that kind of education.
Right.
And now, young Ling just says a jibba jabba, and people shake their little booties. But back then, you need to write it A minor, B minor. I don't even know what that kind of stuff means. Why am I even talking like right now? But isn't it crazy? Just the levels to it. And the ability to read music and hear it. That's kind of creepy to me.
Right. Well, like in any craft, specifically Minecraft.
I almost bit.
I mean, this is like low level talks, but
I mean,
like
this
if
is
I'm
Peliculas with the bros.
like when I'm playing Minecraft, this is like the only thing I'm decent at.
This is your like, if you can call yourself an expert at anything, it'd be like,
yes,
I got Minecraft, baby.
Maybe I'm a little rusty these days, you know, but like I can kind of visualize like what I'm doing, not perfectly, but like if I'm building, I could like kind of visualize what I'm gonna do and how it's gonna be, and what steps are needed to take that. And I'd imagine someone who's even more well versed in Minecraft who can like really build. Like there's some crazy builds out there in Minecraft where they can, I assume they can super visualize anything they want. And I think that's just literally any craft. When you get that mastery and then genius level, you can visualize literally anything.
For the younger audiences out there, because Ivan's an old fart playing Minecraft. Do people still?
Yeah.
I don't think
Everyone plays it.
I don't think so. Fortnite.
You're wrong.
Fortnite. Those guys that can just, or girls, or in
Just
the middle
those
that they
people.
don't know.
Those
who
people.
Is it Hishis?
No, I gave you the out, and you're like, let me just be horrible.
That's not horrible.
Yes, it is.
They them.
Just say those people.
For those that are they them.
Those people.
I always get confused when I'm reading articles and they're like, they like this, and I'm like, does this person not know how to write? It's a person. It's not a they. It's only one person. I'm like, oh.
They. I always saw they as singular too.
How can they be singular when it's multiple?
I guess I'm evolved.
Yeah, that's what it is. I sound like a Trump voter right now.
A little bit.
What are you saying? Fortnite, when they them are creating when they're
And
creating
then you laugh at it. Like that's
no.
no, but like out of context and with the stupid crowd in the world, they're gonna see like they them. Ha! You know? I'm telling you how you will be perceived in 2050 when you're burned at the stake.
Will they even have stakes in 2050?
They them will.
You heard it here first. When people are creating things in Fortnite, and they're creating it all fast and like and shooting at the same time, I'm just like, how do you even think to do all that? That's next level right there.
Yeah.
All right, Ivan, it's time. Let's rate this movie. Out of 5 musical notes, bling, 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 bling. How many musical notes is this movie?
4.75.
4.75, near perfection. Ivan, if you can describe this movie in one sentence, give it to them. Oh yeah, putting you on the spot.
It could be a run-on sentence.
Sure. No rules here on Peliculas with Bros. No rules.
A biopic of one of the greatest artists of our time and their downfall versus their rival.
I think that's like a synopsis. I'm talking about like, why is it a 4.75?
Oh.
Ivan, why is Amadeus a 4.75 musical notes out of 5 musical notes for you?
It gives you a snapshot of genius. A digestible snapshot of genius.
Nice. Amadeus is a 4.5 musical notes out of 5 musical notes for me. This movie is just, like Ivan said, it gives you...
You can't steal what I said.
Have you ever wondered what it's like for... Like, have you ever wondered what your favorite artist... Have you ever wondered what it took, what your favorite musical artist thinks while they make their music? Like, for all you Travis
You ever wonder
Scott,
what Gunna thinks?
for all you Travis Scott heads out there, what are the Scott heads called? They should be called Scott heads.
Scottie Pippins.
For all you Scottie Pippins out there,
Ragers.
for all you Ragers out there, were you ever thinking like, what was Scotty thinking when he pick up the phone? Like, how did he put all that together? You're probably not surprised and let down when you see that someone else made it for him. But think about like a real artist that can actually make their music and seeing that creation process. And for this film to show you that, but also to do it well, it's like, it's bliss.
It's a long sentence.
I know, I didn't put that same rule, huh?
Yeah, you cheater.
Like, Ivan, give me one sentence, and then let me spout rhetoric for 25 minutes.
With commas and ands and commas and ands.
Oh, God. So good. All right. Ivan, it's time for a section called...
Things and such.
Do you have anything?
Such as?
I think that was like you wanted to name a segment like such as or something.
Doesn't sound like me.
Any news out there in the world?
I
thought I had something.
Not really a news guy. Kind of live in the moment. If it's news, it's old. That's what I says.
That's what I says. I don't know. I don't think there is anything. I think there is, but I'm forgetting. I think something was announced. Movies. Do something for the crowd while we talk about like your day. Wow, you really just yell like a banshee.
Pretty uneventful. Just on my grind, trying to make it in this world, as all of us are trying to do. But I am a different class of human.
You are so bad at this.
I think I'm doing well.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Okay. Ivan, it's time for a section called What's on the Telly? That would be gross.
This is my belly.
What you watching?
I watched Lightyear.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lightyear, the movie that we were gonna talk about if
Yeah.
it wasn't Amadeus.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's pretty good.
Oh,
Surprisingly good.
nice.
Good kids movie. Remind me of like they do stuff that Jurassic World did where it's like, come on.
Right.
But they're also doing new things in there. And it's like, are you gonna ever watch it? Do you care if it's
I'm like trying to follow your mentality. Shout out to you.
I'm right here.
Where you told me, you're like, I don't care if things get spoiled now.
Oh, okay.
Because I can look at art like a real person can, and not care about spoilers. So I'm living that lifestyle.
Well, it's
for
not
the
really
past couple of weeks. So
It's not really a spoiler, but it's like a pretty good sci-fi story, like in a vacuum, but it's in a kids movie,
okay.
which I didn't expect. Like I could see like Nolan remaking this in his style, and it'd be like, wow, I can't believe that was the best movie I've ever seen.
Right.
But it's in a kids movie,
Right.
and it's kind of, I wouldn't say heart-wrenching. Like there's sad moments, but it's like moral moments. Like, oh my god, I don't know if I would be able to do this. Like Buzz is a trooper, sort of thing.
What do you think about the female on female
The
kissing scene?
They kissed? I don't even remember.
Oh, I don't know.
They might have, but I don't remember. I mean, it was
Ivan,
introduced. No, don't
they
worry.
them.
Don't worry.
They them.
I didn't care, but it's always.
Oh my god. Oh.
I didn't care. But you could all
down.
you could. It's weird when they introduce it, and it's like, never mind.
He's scared.
I'm scared now.
He's scared.
Yep.
Ivan, just go.
Oh,
I'm just scared, man.
it doesn't matter in the movie. Like you don't know this.
Jesus Christ, Ivan. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
You don't even notice. Ah!
I hated it. I wanted to walk out.
So the movie,
Soundbite this.
the movie isn't doing too well, whatever that means. And one can argue, why make a Lightyear movie? Why make a movie off of a Toy Story side character or whatever?
I think it was worth making because I thought it too, but I watched it. It was the only corny part ish is at the start. It said in like plain text, like 1995, a movie or a toy. Andy fell in love with the toy based on his favorite movie. This is the story of that toy. It like no voice. I'm just
That's
there.
weird.
And then it just went to the movie. I think they should have just not done that.
So is the idea like that the toy had a previous life?
No, it's in Toy Story universe. The toy is based off a movie. So like Andy saw the movie. He's like, oh, I want a toy of that. and then he got the Buzz Lightyear toy.
Oh, so in the Toy Story universe, there's a movie called Buzz Lightyear or Lightyear.
Yeah.
Ah.
So technically, this movie came out in like 1990.
Stupid.
But I mean, it was good. Besides that weird little flub,
Okay. All right.
I think it's worth watching.
I'll watch it. Obi-Wan.
I know what happens.
I don't.
Care.
I don't care. I'll watch it. I think it's like what you were talking about in regards to Jurassic World, that it's just it's flawed to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's bad that they're going back.
Wrong.
And and everything is just fan service.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me. Like, it's not about the art anymore. It's about the fans.
Yeah.
And no thank you for that.
Yeah. But who cares? Let them die.
Let them die. Who's...
IP.
They are slowly killing IP.
That's good. Like, I mean, who cares? Not in like a nihilist way, but like, who cares? You know? She's like,
I mean, I don't know, man. I think in a perfect world we would have arty Star Wars stuff.
it'd be cool if there's just no IPs and like anything anyone created is anyone can use, as long as it's like not just a carbon copy, and just have like a guild of people saying like, you just copied that, you can't make that. Or
But
like,
everything's a copy.
exactly. So who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, you're right.
Who cares?
You're right, Evan.
Who cares?
Anything else you watch?
Yeah.
Evan, it's time for a section we like to call Really Be Bussin'. Oh. You don't even need to tell me after that kind of. Miss me. Drake's album Honestly Nevermind was released. Last week we discussed it in detail, even though we didn't listen to one iota of it,
Yeah.
which was fun.
One note of it. Adrian, elevate yourself. One note.
One note. But we listened to it, and we have some hot takes.
Yeah.
Honestly Nevermind is Drake's new album, and previously we discussed that we thought it was either going to be a return to form in the likes of, if you're reading this, It's Too Late,
Mm-hmm.
Drake's third or fourth album, or it could be a more experimental album. Seems like we were close to the marker as we get Drake's dance album.
Dun, dun, baby.
See, now you know. It's stuck in your head, right?
Yeah, come
It's
on.
his house dance album, right? Before we talk about what people thought, what do we think, Ivan?
It's good. Come on.
It's good?
Line up.
Line up.
Come on.
All right.
I think like criticism was that like it's been done better by better house artists.
That's one.
And like
Wait. Let's not talk about the criticism.
but I'm gonna unravel them.
But you will. You'll have the chance, Ivan.
Do you promise?
Of course.
Do you promise though?
What'd you think when you heard the album?
At first I was like, what is this? Because it kind of starts off silly.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
it starts
Drake.
off really silly.
I don't know about this Dracar.
Jakar.
Come on.
Aubrey.
Obs.
Aubrey.
Okay. I was unsure, but then like I was like, let me just open my mind a tad more. let me vent out a little.
Let me release the valve.
Yeah. And then it was getting better, and then I understood the vision eventually. And then I re-listened. I was like, okay, that's good now.
So I had similar. I listened to it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Interesting first song. I didn't even know the intro. I thought I was still on the intro. And I was like, oh, he already switched to the intro's weird that it's just like a little. It's like trying to throw you off, right?
Yeah.
And then when the third song hits, I'm like, another sort of like danceable rhythm song.
Mm.
And then by the fourth song, I'm like, no way. This dirty devil's really doing it, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then when he goes to the seventh song, where like all dance songs and the seventh song is still a dance song, but it's rapping, I'm like, he did it. Our boy did it. I was like,
Virgil came back through the boy.
woo! What? Are we not supposed to make something this clean? It was like such a weird feeling of being proud.
Yeah. Because I hope he continues this, because it feels like this is the first time he's had fun making something in a while. And
I wouldn't describe it as fun, though.
Fun to make.
Probably. Who knows? But yeah.
And just like without worrying about the mainstream. Because like after this, I was like, I felt like Certified Lover Boy was a joke on me. Like
on you specific.
Yeah.
This is for Ivan or Frosio.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, boy.
Because it's just so different. Like Certified Lover Boy was like, if somebody made a movie of Drake, this would be the soundtrack, and it'd be like the most Drake sounding parody ever.
Yep.
And then this is like, not that it's genius level Mozart work, but it's just new for Drake, which is what matters. Not that it's like next level.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never going to be the guy who pioneers the sound. He's going to find the sound that exists and then just do it in his flavor.
Yes.
And that's Drake.
The key point.
Yeah. And then as long as you just realize you should probably have fun instead of being a little sad sack, you specifically,
Hey, where you do this, man?
you'll enjoy the album. But
okay.
if you're like, ooh, this house isn't hitting as hard as it possibly could.
Ooh, the lyrics.
Black House 5 did it way better than Drakkar or whatever his name is. Like, get a life. Get a life, nerd. Get a life, nerd.
Yeah.
Get a life, nerd.
Someone got you on repeat.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, house inherently isn't something you dissect.
Yeah. It's just vibes.
It's vibes, boy.
Just vibes.
Like, play it at the beach.
Just vibes.
Play it at the beach, and I'm sure people are going to be nodding their head and having fun. Like, play Kendrick at a beach. See what happens.
People crying.
People are crying.
People sad.
Rethinking their lives.
Yeah.
Different settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, the people that we could talk. I guess we can talk about the dum-dums out there that are just like, but we want to hear Drake rap. I'm like,
He did it then.
do you really though?
That's like the point. I mean, I don't want to say his intention too hard, but I feel like the end song was like, you know what? I could come back to this whenever I want, but this one's a little like, most of this is for fun.
Yeah.
But this last song is also fun, but it's also my old style.
Yeah.
Like, so he's like showing off more than anything.
Right.
Like, I don't think this means he's done with rapping. It's just let him do whatever he wants. If you don't like this one, wait for another album. Listen to his other stuff.
Yeah.
Not every album has to be rap.
Yes.
Grow up.
Grow up, people. But that being said, my one criticism is that I would want a little bit more melody from him. A little bit more melodies from him.
Sure.
But even house music isn't like the vocalist. That's not their part.
Yeah.
You know, what house music is
Like,
a vibe.
Yeah. I think a lot of the house is like, do it right, do it right, do it right. And it's like
Is
looped
it?
for like an hour.
Yeah. Was it?
Do-
I'm afraid. Don't.
Oh, yeah.
Be.
And then they just cut
I'm
it.
afraid.
Like,
Don't be. Don't
beat.
be.
And that's just the beat.
That's house music.
Yeah.
Like you take a phrase and then you loop it
Yeah.
in a certain way. And for him to be just like, he was still emo Drake, right?
A little bit.
Like talking about relationships and stuff.
Yeah. He was talking about girls.
Girly
Talking about
girls.
girls.
I think you had a great point though when you said he's not the innovator, he's just the guy that does it in his flavor. I think another way to think about it is like he's just the guy that he spots the trends and then he ships out his product.
Yeah. And I can understand someone hating him for that. Like, I understand why they would, but also, like, who cares? Who actually cares? It's not like he's making things worse. He's not actively, like, doing something that's harming the culture.
Right. Yeah. If anything, he's pushing the
House,
culture.
yeah. Now more people will listen to House.
Right. And it's like something that I always wanted some of my favorite artists like Future, Uzi, even Playboy to try something in this vein. Not a house, but like that.
Just something.
And it's something that I want. Like I talked about how like I wanted Mr. Morale to be, or I wanted Kendrick to make just like a jam album where like he just does a style, but he just doesn't care about anything, just like freestyles or just goes with the flow. And I feel like that's what this album is. It's like he makes it quick, he jams to it, he's just flowing with it. It just happens to be house.
Mm-hmm.
And the summer's coming, and it's gonna
Drake
be
knows.
it's gonna
Drake
be
knows.
favorable to this album. What else? Anything else?
Nah.
We said like what does Kendrick do after he releases this? We said that it was gonna be like Logan. Like, yes, I finally made him do it.
Oh.
We were wrong on that. I think Kendrick's still smiling like, all right, I approve.
Hopefully he sees this and like he thinks, oh, maybe I should have fun for once
Yeah.
instead of trying to fix the world.
Yeah. And then we said Kanye was gonna like descend
Future.
into madness and go back into music. I don't think this is gonna make him do
I
that.
think he's already on a break right now. I mean, we haven't heard anything.
I think he's being good so he can get back his kids.
I don't like that.
I do.
I
That's what
don't-
matters, right?
Eh.
This album didn't end up being the greatest album of all time, but it's still an album we'll go home and jam to. You said it's gonna be
It's more like da 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 da.
I'll be like,
Hmm.
I remember I told you that I listened to Questlove podcast and he was talking about music goes in cycles every 7 years or something. The BPM changes.
Okay.
This one is changing it. Speeding it up a bit. Who's the first artist this makes who's like, all right, I'm doing my album?
Kanye,
Really?
probably.
He's going to be the direct descendant of this? I don't think it's Kanye. It's someone else.
I think Kanye's easily influenceable, and I think if he sees this, he's gonna be like, this is finally something different versus Lil Durk, Lil Baby, Little Kid, Little Keed, Little Bead.
Shout out to Lil Kid, R.I.P.
Yep.
Is this album 2022 version of 808 and Heartbreaks?
No.
Fair enough.
I think it's like a summer views.
A summer views.
Yeah, because views is winter.
I don't like that take.
You don't think views is winter?
It could be, but I don't like that I think it's completely separate from views.
Yeah,
Views-
but views has a similar, like, pretty similar throughout the album.
What?
The feel of it, the sound of it.
No?
Yeah.
It has One Dance and it has the Weston Road.
Cold. It's a winter album.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, even if it's a winter album, this album, even if it's a summer album, it's in the larger scheme of things. Is it comparable to 808? Where 808
No.
introduced the biggest artist of the game using autotune, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get this trickle down effect of everyone using autotune. Now you have the biggest artist in the game using house, different musical style. Not saying house will be the next thing, but do you see a trickle down where it's like, oh, now Future's making this. Now Uzi Vert is making his pop album that he always.
I hope not, because I don't trust any of the modern rappers. Like, I think they're gonna do like one song in that, and then just go back to
So you don't think this will have any kind of residual effect on any kind of rappers?
Only the true artists.
Okay, so
Frank Ocean, Kanye West.
No. Because what did
2015 Travis?
Jay-Z say when Kanye released 808 Heartbreaks?
Oh no.
Damn shot. He said that.
Did he actually?
No, he didn't say that, but I don't think he was like, yeah, I like this.
I mean,
And time proved them incorrect.
Jay-Z also kind of sucks, but that's something else.
I mean, a white male, a cis male would say that.
I'm legally not white. I'm as Mexican as you.
Legally? Like, you had paperwork done to make you not white?
I mean, if I am filing paperwork and it says check the box of your race, I don't have to do white. I don't have to do Caucasian. I'm allowed that right, and I will be well within my rights to do Hispanic. Dare I say Mexican?
If you ever
Huh?
not check white,
Huh?
I'm coming for you.
I'm just saying.
And I'll have my cavalry of Spitfire attorneys right behind me.
Spitfire.
Like that, huh?
You got me. You know I love stupid little words like that.
All right, Evan. Any other takes on a great album by Drake?
What movie? We watched the movie.
Spitfire?
Little spit. Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The little girl.
Imagine all my attorneys are 10-year-old little girls.
Little Spitfires.
Little Spitfires that are crackling with whips with their geniuses. Who take their job seriously. Who are actors. They don't like to be called actresses.
Actors.
I'm an actor. I take my craft seriously. I don't eat before I act. I think it diminishes my performances. Wow. That was a great acting performance. You should read Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It adds to that.
One day.
Okay. Anything else, Evan? Music? Beyonce?
Nah.
Did you listen to Beyonce's new song?
Nah.
I didn't listen to it. I'll listen to the album. Dang, you're mad at her. What's wrong, Ivan?
What's wrong?
You have bad vibes from Beyonce, huh?
That and look.
Okay.
Look.
I'm looking at you.
I don't think this is
Period.
no.
I love lamp.
This is an extremely modern take.
Is it-
Ultra modern, what I'm about to say.
Is it like ultra modern in the artistic sense?
No, in like the rights of humanity
Oh,
sense.
okay.
She does not write a lot of her stuff,
Nope, she does not.
which is kind of weird. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Really?
No, I just think, like, look, there was a article or whatever, a tweet that said that, like, to hype up her album, it said The Dream will be writing one of the songs on her album.
What?
Maker of Single Ladies and other famous Beyonce track.
Okay.
And that just doesn't sit right.
Wait. Wait, there's a tweet that says that she hyped her album out.
No, not her. Like, I mean, probably her team, but leaked it,
Gotcha.
saying The
Gotcha,
Dream
gotcha,
will
gotcha.
be writing one of the singles off her album. And that's supposed to get people hyped. Like, at what point, what is she doing? I'm not saying she doesn't write at all, but if your advertisement for your album is saying, oh, it wasn't written by me, you know?
Right.
That does not sit right.
Right.
And I know Kanye doesn't write his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Drake doesn't write his stuff. Okay. I mean, I feel like he writes his stuff more these days, but back then there's like a point where he just did not.
Right.
But
He just takes the melody and then he does his rap over it.
yeah. I feel like she should be a little more hands-on. Maybe she is, but the vibe I'm getting is that like it's more of her image is being used and her voice more than her mind.
I don't get that. I think she's pretty involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is true that she's not. Like, I think she has a lot of writers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that diminishes her artistic worth to me.
Right.
But that doesn't go. I'm sure she has visions for her album.
yeah.
I'm sure she has a say into the lyrics. And her voice is its own instrument, the key instrument.
I don't mind like a writer too much, but a team of writers, that's when it gets
Correct.
like that's like what Marvel does.
Right.
Not that they're unartistic, but
Beyonce is
don't say it.
Infinity War.
Don't say it.
She's the Russo brothers. No.
And I don't.
Listen, am
Yeah.
I excited for her album? No. Will I listen to it? Yes.
Maybe.
Will it be good? Most likely. Do I see her in the same vein as Kanye? No, but I'm sure people would argue that we should.
Nah.
There's people that would argue that we should.
She does not. I mean, I haven't listened to a single one of her songs ever in my life.
Yeah, you have.
Probably. But I just have to see her work process.
I think her biggest album was Lemonade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was. Have you listened to that?
No.
Me neither.
And I don't. Is that album even like critically praised?
Yeah.
Like seriously?
I don't think it's like her most critically praised, but it's not like a 10 out of 10 type of praise. You know whose album was, and in similar vein, whose album was really good that I really liked, who's like her?
Solange.
No, Rihanna's last album.
Auntie.
Yeah. Like that album was really good.
Yeah.
But same way, like she has everyone else write it for her.
But like you can, I mean, I guess I have to listen to more Beyonce. Or maybe just...
Yeah, you do. You got to listen to Beyonce.
Hold on. I had like 30 thoughts that just melded together into one huge racist thought. Not racist.
Jesus Christ.
But with like Rihanna, I could feel her voice through that, and I could see her being a lot more of a part of the process. And it's like she would hear a song and be like, "Ooh, this is my vibe," and then works that through.
Mm-hmm.
But for Beyonce, it feels more like it was created and she like stamped of approval, not like this isn't my vibe or this isn't who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, I feel like Beyonce has like no personality. So like anything she creates from her soul will kind of not come out into anything. So she's almost stuck.
Yeah.
Because Rihanna, like, you could feel her personality from her
I
music.
think that's what it is. I think that's what you're describing more.
Personality?
Yeah. Because I feel like that's what she really brings to the table of like Rihanna versus Beyonce, where
But isn't that what art is? Just bringing yourself
your
to
talents. And one of her talents, and I would say it's her biggest talent, is her personality. Her X factor. That's her X factor.
Then what's Beyonce's?
Her singing ability.
Is she that good of a singer?
I just think that's her, like the way it sounds. Not so
But
much.
she's not
as
like a Whitney Houston or
no.
Michael
But she
Jackson.
has like, when she sings, she has a power to it.
I see.
Where Rihanna is probably not as powerful.
It's like a glass cannon, like just one trick pony, I think.
Dang.
No?
You heard that? What are they called? Beeheads?
Oh.
I forgot what they're called.
I don't know. Beirut's.
Beiruts.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of better artists, Rosalia. Have you heard her latest album? Now that
I think a few of them I have.
her latest album is like reggaeton more, but she still has like her quirkiness to it.
Yeah.
That's like
The real Beyonce.
the real artist.
Yeah.
But what you get is someone that is not as big, you know?
But Kanye does it. Drake. Oh, not Drake. Kanye does it, and he's like, he was at one point the biggest of all time. Michael did it.
But
Mozart
Kanye
did it.
Kanye did it because he was okay with making 1 or 2 hit songs per album. Now he's not okay with that.
What do you mean? You think he wants to sell now?
Before he sold out knowingly. Now he doesn't sell out.
Okay. But also, like, selling out is kind of dying.
I mean, sure, but I'm just saying Rosalia is never going to be as big because she doesn't sell out.
But if selling out's dying, then she will be as big as she wants to be.
Yeah. It just won't ever be as big as...
But it could be.
No.
Could be.
Because, like, part of selling out is, like, the return is the incredible fame it gets you, the popularity, right? But once you choose not to sell out...
Are you talking about, like, selling albums like Blockbuster or selling out, like, your soul?
Blockbuster.
Okay. I thought we were talking that. Continue.
I'm just saying Rosalia's never going to make a hit as big as Single Ladies. And that's fine. Because that's not what she wants. It's like The Weeknd. Perfect example. He thought he wanted to be an artist. And he makes his major label debut with...
But maybe you just didn't have it.
What was the album? After the trilogy?
Starboy?
No. Before that. And before...
Beauty and the Madness?
Before that. See, you don't even know that.
Kissland?
What?
Kissland?
Kissland. He makes Kissland. It's his like own artistic vision, major label debut. Not a single hit. It's kind of a dud, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I read that he was like, damn, he was really disappointed. He wanted to be a star, like one of the biggest stars.
Like Salieri?
Yep. So he hooks up with Max Martin. They make Can't Feel My Face, and now he's what he is.
I think it's a luck's a big portion of it. But I mean, I think if Kanye can do it and not sell out at all.
But he did sell out.
But with what?
He made Gold Digger. His
one
biggest songs are him selling out knowingly. He didn't want to make Gold Digger, but he made it to sell albums. He didn't want to make. He didn't want to make harder, better, faster, stronger. He didn't want to.
Is that a fact?
Yes, he said it.
Okay.
He's like, I know what's gonna be huge, but I don't want to make this. But to make the label happy, I have to make it. To your own point, you don't want to be too popular. It'll just kill you. Look at Drake. You think he's happy? I'm using your own. I'm using your own things against you. Drake, he's not happy. Kanye, not happy. Weeknd, probably not happy. Beyonce, probably not happy. Rihanna, happy.
Because they don't have therapy.
Kendrick, because he's going to therapy now, right?
Because I think you can sell out. I think it could be I don't think you could be a billionaire and be too happy.
No?
No. I think at a point it's too much.
I'm telling you, musicians.
But I think if you're very smart all the way through, and then you have the right people around you, and then you have like a code that you follow. Like,
you think Jay-Z's happy?
Probably not.
Why?
Because he doesn't give his money away.
You're breaking my brain.
I think, because like this is like tangent, but there's like this documentary I saw of these people. It's kind of corny, but it was like a comedy documentary. This stupid guy goes to like random places and they kind of make fun of him, but he goes to like Mexico and some tiny town, and there's just a guy like on his stoop, kind of, but he's like kind of leaning on his whatever, and he's just smiling. And Carl's like talking to him with the translator. That's Nick Carl. He's like, "Is there a day where you're not happy?" He's like, "No." And he's like, he has $2 to his name. And like,
so you're showing my point though.
What do you mean?
You're saying Rosalia. I don't see why she wouldn't want to be.
So you can get that money and then do good with it.
But that's the issue.
What?
Money makes you not good.
Not if you have good people and your code and you're this and that.
But how difficult is that? That's even more difficult than just being in the middle and not doing that. I'd rather not have all that money and worry not to get a whole entourage behind. What?
Don't you want the challenge?
Yeah, I do.
I just think you might as well make. I mean, it's about getting raised well, and then getting therapy.
Oh God, here he goes again.
And then having your code, and then make your billion, but then do something smart with it.
Ivan, your profession is changing right before my eyes. We used to be the Frausio Bros, the plumbers. Hollywood calls us in, and we fix your IP.
Right.
Now you're writing solo, because you're partaking in a new career that I don't want to be a part of. But it's fine. Ivan Frausio. His nickname, the Renovator. Ew. What does he do?
He renovates.
He gets hired by billionaires to make them happy again.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You give him like, you have like a triangle plan. Like
a pyramid scheme?
For some reason you call it a pyramid scheme. Number 1, you need the base.
Mm-hmm.
Good family, good morals. Number 2, you have to find your why.
Next, you need a little cha-cha.
And number 3, I don't know. That's secret sauce that you only can tell, but
for $1 billion fee, I'll tell you the secret sauce.
Yeah, man. That's you.
I'm not saying anything crazy. It's just like
No. I'm not saying it's crazy. I'm just saying it's extremely difficult.
Yeah, but it was also super difficult. Like, imagine you're a billionaire, and then you're like, "Well, I'm so sad." Like, at that point, your next challenge should be, how do I not be sad?
Well, you know why they're a billionaire?
Because they're sad.
Yeah. Because there's like something missing that makes them broken, that actually elevates them to do something else really well. So inherently, to be rich, you have to be broken.
I feel like it's harder to be like spiritually perfect than it is to be like wealthily perfect. I think it's easier to be a billionaire than to be like Gandhi.
Yeah. Could be.
And then when you're a billionaire, you're like, I have it all. What's next? And they can't fathom the thought that like it's all mental work that they have to do now. Like, I'm a billionaire. What do you mean I have to do charity work? Like, it's just like that's why they became a billionaire.
Damn. Here in Peliculas with the Bros, we like to break down psychology, people's inner state. You know what I mean?
Meh.
Any parting words for the beautiful people?
Honestly, never mind.
There it is, guys. We'll be back next week. Please hit the like button, rate, review, subscribe. We'll talk back to you. Oh, let me shout out one viewer.
Good or bad?
They said, let's see here. I posted a video about us predicting what the Jay-Z album would sound like.
Drake?
Yeah, Drake, sorry. What the Drake
Jesus.
album would sound like. And they said, hold.
I have a side note to cap it off. That's about Jay-Z and Kendrick.
Go ahead.
Kendrick did in this album what Jay-Z did with 444, but Kendrick is like 20 years younger, and Kendrick was way more honest than Jay-Z. So I'm like, that comparison of spiritual growth, like Jay-Z is obviously, he spiritually grew and he like accepted his lesbian mom, but like Kendrick, like they have like the same sort of.
Sorry, when you said lesbian mom, that threw me off so bad.
That was true, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry. Kendrick.
It's kind of messed up.
I know.
Trying to be a little modern for our modern audience. But Kendrick did the same, but instead he accepted his aunt, who I don't want to say it the wrong way, his transgender aunt, which is like in the rap world, crazy amount of spiritual development. And he did that at like 32 or whatever he is.
Right.
So I feel like just people are growing better and faster these days.
Yeah.
But also people are getting stupider faster these days. Like it's like splitting instead of
There's
being
a
like
schism.
Yeah. Like before it was like a middle ground where people were
all dumb and stupid,
but somewhat okay. But because of the internet now it's like poof, poof, either spiritually awakened or just crazy
spiritually
schizoid.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good take. And I agree with it. Illuminated with a V instead of a U.
Hard.
Said, make a review of the new album. I don't understand why would Drake drop an album like this. And
Is that like a positive or a negative?
And I said, we will review the album, ! Sweat smiley face. Illuminated. I'm sorry to disappoint. We like the album. But we described why he dropped an album like this. He wanted to have fun. He wanted to be crazy. He wanted to do something new.
I think if you go at it with that and like just be truly honest, like the only reason you could hate this is if you really just aren't into house music. Like I would not be into classical music. But even with classical music, I could be like, oh, I understand why this is good. Like I think anyone could understand why this album's good.
I think that's a key point that, and it's like back to 808. People didn't like it when it first came out. People don't like change, really.
Yeah.
And people are not as musically diverse as most. Like, there's a very few people that are very musically diverse. Most people that like Lil Durk don't like house music.
Yeah.
So for them to,
yeah,
it's like, it's very,
yeah.
hip hop isn't as.
And I mean, Drake's always been a sing-songy guy, and he's done not like house, but I mean, I think Passion Fruit was a little housey, but he's known to be soft like this.
I mean, One Dance. It's like,
yeah. Just I hate people or something.
All right, guys. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about Elvis. Thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. Shout us out. We'll talk back. Peace out.
Bye.